My name is Mafoyi Sise. I work for the Voice newspaper. I wanted to know what truly makes you to abandon the state house and live in your house.
Thank you, Mafoyi. You said abandon the state house. I've never lived in the state house. This is my residence. And I prefer to live in my residence until when everything is ready for me to move to the state house. I have to give in the clearance that it is ready for me to move. I didn't abandon it. I've never lived there.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Lawin Ba. I'm from Dakar. I'm the correspondent of the Deutsche Welle, the German international radio based in Dakar. My question is, you expressed your will for ECOWAS troops to stay in the Gambia until 6 months at least, so you can set up your security in the whole country. ECOWAS troops is going to progressively leave the Gambia. What is your position about that decision? Thank you.
There is no time set for ECOWAS stay in the Gambia. They are here to help the process. And I think anytime we don't need them to continue in this country, we will work that out so that their services will finish in this country.
Good morning. My name is Ajit Rami. I work for West Coast Radio in the Gambia. Your Excellency, we heard from other news outlets that you've been invited for the AU summit in Addis Ababa, and we understand the invitation is extended to you. Will you be attending for the first time with other head of states? Thank you.
Because of very important things nationally, and I was not here for 2 weeks, I will not be able to travel, but the Vice President will represent me.
Good morning. My name is Irama Khalulanjai. I'm from a newspaper called Le Soleil in Dakar. So we want to know if Gambia will still stay a Republic of Islamic.
Come back again.
Will Gambia stay a Islamic Republic?
Gambia will be the Republic of the Gambia, not Islamic Republic. It will be the Republic of the Gambia.
Good morning, Your Excellency. My name is Mamadou Diallo. I work at the Gambia Radio and Television Services. I just wanted to ask, when are you going to announce your full cabinet? As you know, there's been some kind of vacuum since the other government left, and since then people have been anticipating the announcement of the full government to start work.
This is a very important question. If you want the board to start rolling, we have to get our cabinet in place. That is by Monday, Tuesday, we will announce our cabinet. And there are a few names that I have already contacted and they have been informed. So our future cabinet, and by Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, it will be officially announced.
Mr. President, first of all, congratulations. My name is Sheriff Boyang Jr., a Gambian journalist. My question, generally the concern is that you're going to inherit a government with no money, absolutely no money. Are you concerned that in the shortest time you will even struggle to pay salaries of government employees because of the bad state or the perceived bad state of the Gambian economy? Thank you.
Well, that is the general feeling of everybody. But we will get this information as at Monday or Tuesday to know what is the state of our economy. Then from there, then we can comment on it. But as of now, we have to wait for that.
Good morning, Mr. President. Barkaba from TFM. Ci wolof laa leen laaj sama question. Est-ce que déggante nga ak président Jammeh depuis bu mu génnee dëkk bi ak lan mooy accord bu waa CEDEAO yu ñu wax ne CEDEAO signé nañ ko ak moom lan moo ci am ak lan moo ci amul.
bu mu fi jógee ak tey déggoowuñ waaye lu signé ak luñ signé wut ñu mel ni dañ bëggoon pour ñu am peaceful ñu resolve problème bi peaceful loolu lañ bëggoon loolu am na dañ bëggoon mu génn dëkk bi bëggoon mënuñoo garanti sécurité am si dëkk bi loolu am na yeneen waxtaan yi dina continuer resolution moo amoon rek waaye agreement amut so loolu waxtaan yi dina continuer.
asalaamaaleykum Abdou Cissé dakaractu.com man aussi xam naa damay topp ci sama tànku mag ci olof lañ bëgg parce que suñuy lecteur dañuy bëgg di gis olof li ma lay laaj benn bi mu ngi jëm ci nomination bi nga def Fatoumata Tamba Diang ñu bëri dañ ne da nga ko fal te peut-être defoo gëstu bi war nee nañ moom dafa dépassé âge bi nga bi ñu laaj pour nekk vice-présidente ñu lay laaj sa xalaat ci loolu beneen bi dañu ne sa ki nga fi wuutu mu Yaya Jammeh ñu bëri dañu wax ni dafa yóbbaale ci keesu nguur gi alal ju bëri am na sax ñu wax 11 millions de dollars ñu bëgg a xam yow lan nga mën a tontu ci loolu ñu ngi lay jaajëfal.
vice président bu ma nommé am nañ gom-gom ne si loi lañ ko wéer ñu nga xam ne tam joxe nañ si seen yeneen xalaat foog nga génne ay dalil yu wér nekku ne dangay toog rek nga wax te xam naa ne dinañ wone ay kayit yu wone jam loolu dina xew pour nit ñi xam sa beneen question bi loolu mënuñ see wax foog ñu waxtaan ak ñu nga xam ne ñoo amee bunti yooyu bunti xaalis bi su ñu joxee kayit yu leer si la ñoo mën a wax si loolu.
Mr. President, my name is Alaji Mane. I work with the Standard newspaper. So my question is, it could be recalled that you established a think tank to identify qualified Gambians to fill vacancies in your administration. Who are these thinkers, sir? Thank you.
I didn't get any report on that as of now, but for sure by Monday I'll be in office, or Tuesday. If I get the report, that's the time you can give your names. But as of now, I didn't get any report on that.
Okay, good morning, Mr. President. My name's Mamadou Idris Sanjay, a journalist and a blogger with the Mansabanko News Online. Okay, my question is, what are your plans for the children of the Gambia? And is your government ready to establish Ministry for Children Affairs that will provide quality education, protection of children against all forms of abuse and exploitation? And in addition to that also, a Human Rights Commission draft is already in place. So is your government going to implement that?
I think there is a ministry responsible for youth. And when we said youth, I think that will cover all that. We want this election on the platform of democracy. And we want to make sure we establish democracy in this country, the rule of law. That will be the order of the day. I think that will help us to solve all those human rights problems that people have been talking about.
Good morning, Mr. President. This is Carly with the Associated Press. Can you tell us what you foresee as Gambia's greatest challenges moving forward and how your administration plans to address those?
The greatest challenge is there was a government here for 22 years. 22 years is a long time. And we are able to change the government after 22 years. So obviously, there will be a lot of challenges to look at all the system and make a complete overhaul. I think that is a big challenge to my new government.
Thank you very much. I am Mustafa Dabo. My question is with regards to the former government, some of the abuses that have happened during the past regime. Each time your government speaks on this, all the coalition stakeholders emphasizes reconciliation, truth. But there are people who, some of people who are being in detention for 3 years, 6 months. There are those who have not still seen their relatives, even after an executive order for them to be released. which probably gives an assumption that probably they have died. Will there be any form of compensation from your government for victims of the previous regime? Thank you.
I think we are all speaking on one voice. There will be Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And that commission will be mandated to look at every avenue and make a report. Based on that report, there will be recommendations, and we will respect those recommendations.
Thank you very much. My name is Binam S. Job from Taranga FM. My question is, we have seen so many irregularities in the Constitution. What is your government doing towards that?
As I said, there will be an overhaul, and there will be reforms in the system of government so that we can put everything in place and we respect the principles of democracy. This is what we want to do immediately.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, Monsieur le Président. maa ngi tudd Boubacar Tamba rajo Sud FM Sénégal. man du ma doon sawar a ñëw Gambie ndax NIA. dëmb romb naa fa fekk buntu tëju may laaj ndax NIA dina wéy wala bokk di ngeen ko seetaat. ma jeexale rek laaj la ndax di nga sol maillot Sénégal tey ci joŋante ak Cameroun.
NIA banxaasi nguur gi la bu nga xam ne moo amee affaire intelligence si dëkk bi fii banxaas boobu dina nekk banxaas boo xam ne dafay continuer di liggéey waaye na liggéey bi dafay ute te ñu ngi am yaakaar ne dinañ wecci tur bi pour ñu am beneen tur te seen liggéey tam dafay ute bi yoon dafa am intelligence nu ñu war a liggéeyee yooyu dinañ ko seetaat dinañ def réforme si yooyu pour seen liggéey gën a ànd ak loi bi mooy Sénégal gooman dinaa ko sol waaye dinaa supporter Sénégal.
Good morning, Your Excellency. Congratulations, like my colleagues have said. My name is Sankola Janko from Unique FM Radio. The truth be spoken, the Gambia has never been polarized as it is today. And for you to have a smooth running of running the affairs of this country, people must come together as one people. My question is, which mechanisms are you putting in place to see to it that even the supporters of APRC and GDC will feel the sense of belonging, that they all belong, and this government is not here for only one party, but instead the entire Gambian population?
I think we have already answered your question. We won this election on democratic principle, and we want to make sure we continue in that line. And there will be a complete reform of all democratic processes in this country. And I think if we get that, the field will be labeled for everybody. And in Truth and Reconciliation, if people reconcile, that will unite everybody. And we want to work on that line. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President. The ECOWAS Community Court of Justice in Abuja has in the past ruled against the Gambian government in the case of Musa Sidikan versus the Gambian state, as well as in the case of Chief Mane versus the state, and recommended that the Gambian government should compensate both of them. Would your government adhere to the decision of the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice by compensating those individuals?
We will look at this crucially, and our experts will advise us on what we can do about that. But as of now, we have to wait until then.
Good morning. My name is Ajamusaba. I work with Foreign Newspaper. I want to know, because time ago, just a few weeks back, some of our people went to Senegal and be there as refugees. And to my knowledge, in Karong, more than 3,000 people were in Karong. And some of the people in Karang, the residents, they willingly and wholeheartedly gave their compounds to the Gambians for them to stay freely. They cook for them. I want to know whether the Gambian government will compensate them, the Senegalese people.
I think it was a goodwill gesture. I don't think anybody is asking for compensation. What the Gambia government did is to try and get them repatriated back to the Gambia. I think that was done. I think about 42,000 people have been repatriated back to the Gambia. I think that's what we have done as of now. I think nobody is asking for compensation.
My name is Favara Fofana, serving as a stringer for CNN Banjul. There has been talks of the Gambianization of the judiciary for a long time under the former regime. And then we've seen a lot of our key judicial positions manned by foreigners, Nigerians in particular. What measures have you got in place to make sure that dream is realized, that we have Gambians serving in top judicial functions, given the kind of situation recently experienced here in the wake of the election?
You will see a lot of Gambians in the judiciary sector, but if there is need for any technical assistance outside, I think we will welcome that also.
Good morning, Mr. President. A big part of your campaign was rooting out corruption in the system. How exactly do you intend to do this? And you talked about truth and reconciliation. So what will be their mandate, the Truth and Reconciliation Committee? What exactly will be their mandate? Thank you.
When we said truth and reconciliation, I think before you make any decision, you get to the truth first, and you reconcile. Their mandate is very wide. They will examine every case and make a report. Then based on that, government will act. And at the same time, when you have democratic principles in place, I think that will always help to control corruption. Good governance. This is exactly what my government wants to do.
Assalamu alaikum, President Barrow. Man la Maguette Ndong du quotidien national Le Soleil Dakar. Benn question bi mooy président Jammeh dafa jëloon décision retirer Gambie de la CPI, mooy International Penal Court. Est-ce que yow décision boobu da nga koy dëggal wala da nga koy remettre en cause? Mani président Jammeh dafa jëloon benn décision mooy retirer Gambie de la ICC waay. Léegi est-ce que yow décision boobu da nga koy dëggal wala da nga koy remettre en cause tey jii? Benn question bi mooy pont bi nga xam ne moo war a dox ci Sénégal ak Gambie. Pont boobu wax dëgg seen dafa soxal lool waa Sénégal, est-ce que yow di nga ci jàppandoo? Merci.
ICC goma ne Gambia dina jógee ci ICC su nekkee ñu ngi wax démocratie ak rule of law mu ngi mel ni ICC tam loolu la moo advocate kon goma ne Gambia war naa ragal pour war a bokk foofu duñ fa jógee affaire yi pont bi loolu yàgg nañ ko waxtaan suñ nguur gi suñ toogee dinañ ko gestu dinañ am ñu nga xam ne ñu màcca xam-xam lañ si wàllu boobu dinañ ko seet lu si war ñu def ko.
Mr. President,
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Sarah Kamara from Star FM Radio. I want to know how you intend to work with the media in the Gambia, because since in the previous regime, especially the private media, they are marginalized. So how best are you going to work with them?
I think we will be media friendly. I think since 1st of December, you have seen the changes. I think the media are more comfortable now than before. And we will look at the media bill so that there will be reform in that area to make sure people are informed. We believe that if people are informed, they are enlightened. And I think we need that in our society.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Abdullah Si. I work with the Gambia Radio and Television Services. My question is, you've been advocating for democracy and, of course, rooting out corruption throughout the campaign, and I'm sure you want to pursue this. I want to know if you are willing to emphasize or advise your ministers to declare their assets. We understand that it's not a legal requirement, but would you require your ministers, for the sake of transparency, declare their assets before they assume office? Thank you.
I think that will happen. All ministers will declare their assets, because even myself, before I contest election, I declare my assets in the interest of transparency and accountability. That will happen.
Okay, salaamaaleykum Mr. President. Man Omar Tunkara tuda maa ngi jógee Star FM radio. Li ma doon laajte moom moo di ne bi nga falee ki nga xam ne moom moo di Massané Kinte pour nga def ko sa military aid advisor fu mu nekk ni tool yi bari na si dëkk bi ndax da nga koy remplacer def ko CDS ndax doo ko def CDS fu mu nekk ni loolu la nit ñi di laajte lan nga see mën a leeral.
Fon naa soxla nañ ku am xam-xam si wàllu soldaar mu war a advice président bi ak dëkk bi si wàllu boobu so dafa am place boo xam ne dañ ko soxla loolu tax ñu créer place boobu pour muy advice président bi di advice tam soldat yi loolu luñ si wecci suñ xalaat.
Associated Press News Agency. Under the Jammeh regime, we know that corruption has become a sporting activity in the Gambia. And the justification that many people used to put forward is the salaries are very poor. So what are the plans that your government is going to implement in order to make sure that the salaries is based on the real cost of living?
My government is going to look at every avenue, and there will be a complete overhaul of the whole system. In that overhaul, we will have recommendations. I think we will look at all those things and take the best decision as soon as possible.
Good afternoon. Lavin Cham, the Standard. Mr. President, there have been many decisions that were what I would call decrees or proclamations by presidents which stopped businesses and threw out hundreds of people out of employment and closed media houses. Moves that were not backed by law. For example, the Daily News newspaper up to this time is not published and has not been closed by any form of procedure. Operators in businesses such as casinos, lotteries, have all had their businesses stopped. Now, do they have to wait for another presidential directive to resume, or would they get back to work immediately? And also, you said you'll be watching the African Nations Cup quarterfinals today, supporting Senegal. Are you not touched as a president that your country has never reached that stage? And what will be, your efforts to see that the next African Nations Cup, the Gambia, appears there? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lamin Cham. I think the issue of executive directives, that will be over in this country. There will be no directive. What we're going to do is we follow the rule of law, basically. In that, with democratic principle, you have to follow the rule of law. When you say executive directives, it makes the job very difficult for everybody. We don't want to use our powers. We want to follow the law. Gambia, I think it's unfortunate. Gambia was at a level higher than a lot of countries. Now we have gone below them. We will look at that crucially. As a sport journalist, I think you will be in that committee to advise what best we can do to improve our national squad. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Binta Diagne. I work for RFI. Mr. President, since many years, we've seen that many rebels called MFDC in some parts of the country. How are you going to handle with this issue?
This is a Casamas issue that has been on for years. I think Gambia and Senegal, we are all the same. If there is a problem in the Gambia, the same problem will reflect in Senegal. See, during the course of this short period, how many people have fled to Senegal? So we will always cooperate with the Senegalese government to help resolve the problem in Casamas.
Jennifer Imani, AFP. I think everybody has been struck by the professionalism we've seen from the foreign forces here, especially the Senegalese troops that we've met. They benefit from a close cooperation with France and with the US in terms of training. As you reform your own army, are you thinking of using training from other African nations or from the West in terms of revamping the army and the way that it works in the Gambia?
You are talking about reforms? Yes. When we say reform, is every area that we want to reform. overhaul of every sector. In the army, if we need technical aid, we will contact countries that are willing to help us to shape the army.
Good morning. My name is Karicha. I'm from Paradise FM. Mr. President, we have seen the youth since day one. They have been behind you since day one. And what measures are you taking in place in order for them to have a strong voice at the parliament? And are you trying to create job opportunities for them? Because they were all chanting that no more back way.
My government is committed to that, and we want to bring a system in place that will create jobs. In this creation of jobs, we want businesses to open in this country. And if that happens, I think that will create jobs. We are looking at the fishing industry also. In that industry, it has not been exploited by Gambia. We want to work on that so that we can create jobs. In that line, we want businessmen to go into production, light industries. This light industry is manufacturing. When you are into buying and selling, you become a liability. We want people to go into production, whereby you can compete in the market, you create jobs. And I think the youths will be very important because they are the labor force. So we are putting it into account to help the youths to be employed. Of course, yes, they were our foot soldiers. I think the youth make a big difference in these elections. They will have a voice.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Lamin Jahate. Sir, the Gambia is currently working on a 4-day work week because the country has been declared an Islamic Republic. Friday has been off from our 5-day work week. Are we expecting the Gambia returning back to a 4-day work week, or you are going to maintain this? Are you expecting to go back to the 5 days, or you are going to maintain the 4 days work week? And also, you've been emphasizing the issue of constitutional reform in the legal service. Does this mean complete overhaul of the constitution, coming with a new one or an amendment of the existing one? Thank you.
Not coming up with a new one, but continue the existing one and amendments. The 5 days, I think we are thinking in that line. You start work from 8 to 6 is a long period. Sometimes before you get home, it's late. I think we will come back to the 5 days. That will be more preferably, I think, for many Gambians.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, my name is Ibu Wage. I am a Reuters reporter in the Gambia. Mr. President, we have all seen how Gambia has been put on the spotlight by the international media and the coverage it has given to this country. In that same vein, we have also seen how ECOWAS and the UN defended the choice of Gambians. Our neighbors, Senegal, are at the forefront, and their support has been tremendous. Going forward, what close relationship with Senegal do you have in mind?
Senegal, they are our neighbors. We are so close to Senegal. It looks like we are the same country. We speak the same language, we eat the same type of food. If you are in Senegal, it looks like you are in the Gambia. I think there will be close relationship between the Gambia and Senegal. We will always collaborate so that to avoid misunderstanding between Gambia and Senegal. We will improve the relationship.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm back again, Mohamed Lamin Ba. I want to know what is the importance, how important is tourism in the economy of the Gambia?
Tourism is very important. I think it's 20% of the GDP. So it is very, very important. And we want to improve the tourism sector so that it can be year-round. Because it is existing, it's just 9 months, people are redundant. We want it to be year-round. So we will try to improve that. We will work very hard to improve that to be 1 year round.
I just want to once again ask a question concerning our relationship with Senegal. I've been listening to the Senegalese media, particularly TFM, and some of the experts have been talking about having some kind of a very, very special relationship with Senegal, given the fact that Senegal intervened in the Gambia. In return, there should be more or less Gambia owe them some kind of a debt, like some have been calling for a union. Are you thinking of that, or what would be the basis of the relationship between the Gambia and Senegal?
If you say Senegal, that will be misleading. It is ECOWAS. So it's not based on that. It's based on Gambia and Senegal are very close. Senegal have surrounded Gambia from all ends. Senegal have interest in the Gambia, whilst we have the same interest in Senegal. If you cross, you have to cross from Senegal to the other end, you have to pass through the Gambia. So basically, we are the same. The relationship should be like that. That's why we emphasize that we should be very close to Senegal.
Mr. President, during the Madeleine Baji, Radio Gambia. Thank you. Mr. President, so many people during the previous regime have been dismissed, if I can use the word, illegally. Are we looking at a point where they can come back to offer their services to the country? Will your government welcome that? And the Gambia, more or less, has been alienated from the rest of the world. What plans do you have in place to open up to the international committee? Thank you.
I think every Gambian have the right to work in the Gambia government. And people who have been dismissed, we will look at everything and see why they were dismissed. But every Gambian have the right to work in the Gambia government. Your second question is, what is your second question? We will open up to the global world. Gambia cannot be isolated. We will open up to the global world and we respect all protocol.
So, Mr. President, I want to ask you a question in Polar. Hechanki no gartodande dental ngal heewi yimɓe gambinaaɓe ngari jaɓɓimaama no feewi an ɗo jiiɗaade ɗum a hulaani affaire o ko wonma ndeɓe jaɓɓirma ni hulɓinaanima par rapport au challenge mo jogiɗaɗi défi uji ɗi
no yimɓe jaɓɓori kam ni hulɓinaani kam sabu ko he hare men gonno hare démocratie nden hare ko nden timmi on ñande kono yimɓe ɓe ɗi poti yaltude ɓe kollira weltare maɓɓe ko nde weltare ɓe kolliri ɗum noon min keɓani hen hakkille ɗiɗi ko noon ɓe potno yaltirde sabu ko hare wonno ko hare politique si waɗi ha goto gañima tan ko noon yarata.
Yes, thank you very much. Biram S. Job again, Tarang FM. My question is regarding the election bill. What is your government going to do on that? Because most of the political parties were complaining about the election reform.
Say that again.
The election bill. That was the registration of new political parties, presidential candidate, and the list goes on. What is your government stand towards that?
Election date?
The election bill. The act.
Okay, election bill, okay. I think we have been on the other side of the coin all the time. We've always been complaining about laws that don't create environment for everybody to operate. We will make it very easy for every Gambian to register a political party, and there will be a complete reform on that, so that the field will be very level for everybody to operate freely and fairly. Definitely that will be part of what we are going to do.
Please, Lyman Jahade is my name once again. I mean, as we await the naming of the ministries on Monday or Tuesday, are we expecting the same number of ministries as in the previous government, or some ministries will be merged and you come with new ones?
We are expecting the same number to continue.
Sir, does your government have any plan whatsoever to do an audit of the civil service? And if so, how soon do you think this will come into effect?
Well, as I said, there will be a commission that will look at every avenue. If there is need for that audit, it will be audited. But it will be based on recommendation. We have this think tank. We will bring knowledgeable people together to make this commission and give us recommendation. Based on that, we will act.
Alajumane, once again, sir. You said every Gambian have the right to work for your government. And of course, that includes also the members of the 7 different parties that made up of the coalition team. Are you not concerned or worried about appointing? Are you not concerned about are you not concerned about some of these coalition members? Because since you indicated that they all have the right to work for the Gambia government, we understand that something might come up that I would like to call conflict of interest. How do you intend to address this? Different parties, different agendas.
Different agendas, but we compromise to come together. And up to today, I think we are the same family, and that family will reflect the government.
Thank you. Mafuji Sise again. Okay. And would your government consider setting up media commission, since the Gambia journalists are the less paid in the world?
Well, I think we cannot set that for journalists, but we will promise you that there will be a reform and there will be a media bill that will accommodate all journalists. We will be media friendly. You will operate in a free environment. We promise you that.
Yeah, Sheriff here again. So your mandate is 3-year term, transition period. Our constitution says 5-year term. And I guess there is something so beautiful about presidency that propel our leaders to hang on to power even beyond their constitutional mandate. Once again, I know you signed this document to say you will leave after 3 years. Can we have you on record right here to say, despite what, whether you complete your job or not, or whatever project you have, at the end of the 3-year term, you will leave and we will go to the polls again?
It's a coalition. The agreement is 3 years. We have a mandate to do within that 3 years. It depends on the coalition now, whether the job is completed in 3 years or not. But as of now, it is 3 years.
So it is possible that if the job is not complete in 3 years, you might hang on to power?
It depends on the coalition, not me.
Would you like to hang on to power to continue beyond the 3-year term?
I think I have answered your question. It's the coalition, not me.
Mr. President, once again, Sarah Kamara from Star FM Radio. There's a picture of you circulating on the internet, on social media, of you giving out money. So many people are saying it is Photoshop, others are saying it's real. Is it true?
Well, I think it's true, but this is just $200. I don't think that is much.
All right, it's Abdullah here again. My question is regarding the Yelitana-Bambatenda Bridge. We understand it has been a bone of contention between the Gambia and Senegal. And Senegal, when it constructed in the soonest possible time, Gambia too, I'm so on the government will be willing to construct it. We have conservationists saying that if it is constructed open-ended, it's going to block the entire River Gambia, which is the beauty of the country. People are saying that perhaps in the future there could be a port in Basse, and ships have to use the River Gambia. So my question is, are you considering constructing open-ended, or you're going to construct it in a suspension form? Thank you.
Well, I think I've answered the question. We have to look at it. I get the comprehensive report of what is there. Then that's the time our technician will advise us what to do and what not to do. But the Gambian interest is very important here. We look at everything and make sure the Gambian interest is looked at closely, definitely.
Okay, Your Excellency, for the third time, I would just like to ask, the last time when the former president was leaving, he signed some kind of a will where he asked you to dispose some of his assets. around in CRR, there is a Jahari Pachar, dispose some of the rice and some of the materials. Now, I just want to ask, what will happen to some of the assets of the former president, which most of you know was acquired, I would say, illegally? And he has also given you a task to dispose of some of these assets and give the rice to the women and do some other work. Are you going to do that or what?
Well, officially, I didn't get the letter. I just see it in the media. As at now, I have to look at the document itself and see what best I can do about that. It was a goodwill gesture. I will look at it closely.
What, if you look at it, would you do as he said, that is, dispose some of the rice to the women and do some of the other instructions he asked you to do?
I will wait until if I get the document in my hand. This time I can comment on that.
Mr. President, Sénégal bi mooy ñettel yoon mu fi ñëw Fodekaba 1 Fodekaba 2 léegi opération Misega waaye li ñu nemmeeku mooy ñun gisuñu fi ay monument yoo xam ne dafay honorer mémoire suñu soldats yi nga xam ne dañoo ñàkkoon fi seen bakkan. Est-ce que di nga def dara pour suñu demee fenn ñu gis benn makkaan boo xam ne day wane ne ay doomu Sénégal ñàkk nañ seen bakkan pour Gambia?
loolu loo xam ne la awma si xam-xam bu baax waaye wax nga ko ni dinañ ko noot ñu seet ko su nekkee dafa jar mun nañ koo def waaye goo ma ne Gambia sax am na monument bi am na yeneen Gambian yu nga xam ne passé nañ fii liggéeyal nañ réew mi waaye gisuma seen monument fii waaye dinañ ko seet.
Mr. President, Haji Drame from West Coast again. My question this time will go to our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora. As we speak, there are Gambians who are still in Libya trying to take the next journey to Europe. And recently we've seen some other Gambians in Angola treated somehow that is not welcomed by the Gambian public. How soon do you intend to look at the welfare of Gambians who have been struggling with life outside this country?
We have representatives in those countries, our ambassadors. We will contact them and see what best the Gambia government can do for those Gambians who are stranded either one way or the other.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I am Sekou Jame for Radio France International. Could you tell us briefly what concrete actions you intend to take within your first 100 days in office?
First 100 days, we want to get cabinet in place, and we want to institute this think tank to make sure they prepare a comprehensive report in every area that will help this government to move.
Mr. President, my name is Haruna Drame, Paradise FM. We first apologize that you didn't get the transition period that you were supposed to, but we want you to hit the ground running immediately. And I also want to apologize for the public media and the disservice that they have done. As part of the media, I'm embarrassed of ourselves. What will you do going forward with the public media? Because apparently they've not done their job well. Having said that, we seem to be the only country in this part of the world without a private TV station. Personally, I had written an application since 2009 and following it through. What will your government do not only to free up the media space, but to make it participatory that all views can be heard and continue to be heard without us fearing the NIA and five-star hotel on the Banjul Highway?
That's why we said there will be reforms, and there will be this media bill. We will review it so that it can create the environment for the media to operate freely. And if that happens, I think everybody can operate. We can issue licenses to people who want to establish media houses in this country. We want people to get information. Because through that information, we were able to win elections. During our campaign, we don't have access to GRTS. But because of the social media, these WhatsApps and all sort of, people were informed. That information influenced a lot of people. to vote for the coalition. I think we benefited from that. And we want every Gambian or every person in this world to benefit from that. The media is here to educate people. If you educate them, you have empowered them to make their decision independently. I think we are thinking in that line, and we will be very, very media friendly. Because with the media, you have a lot to learn. With the media, it will help you to improve on where there is lapses. So this is something that we are thinking. And when you are talking about democracy, rule of law, you have to think about the media. The media must be free. Mr. Haruna, from today, I think the media is free in the Gambia.
Ousmane Lay Diop, journal Enquête, Dakar. Ousmane, CDS, Ousmane Badji, ak sa opposition, loo leen dencal. CDS, Chief of Defence Staff, Ousmane Badji, ak sa opposition, lan nga leen dencal.
Suma opposition.
Waaw, opposition bu bees bi daal maanaam.
Ah, waaw wax nga dëgg opposition bu bees bi mooy APRC. Ah, Ousmane Badji njiiti armée bi la. Place yi liggéeykaay la bu nga xam ne Gambien la mu ngi nekk foofu. Kon mu ngi mel ni moom liggéeyam lay continuer. Loolu la mooy def. Opposition bu bees bi nag xam naa ne am na bore bu métti. Soo nekkee si nguur ñaari fukki at ak ñaar mu am opposition yu booloo ci ñetti weer ñu génnee la soo waree taxaw borowaat ak ñoom xam naa dina métti si yow loolu laa am pour wax leen waaye affaire yi démocratie la ñun ñëpp ñoo bokk réew mi ñun ñëpp ñooy benn affaire rek mun naa leen koo wax ñun lu nga xam ne duñ ko doon enjoy lu nga xam ne suñu right la woon duñ ko doon mën a am ñoom dinañ ko am bi yow dinañ leen jox seen gëdda ba mu mut sekk ñu xam ne réew mi daal Gambian si ñoo ko moom décision bi Gambian lañ duñ ragal ne suñ defee loolu dinañ daanu wala duñ daanu ko soo gisee nguur gi mu daanu dafa am loi yu isi woon mu fu ne loi yooyu ñoo ko gën a dimbale pour mu continuer bu njëkka soo taxawee élection foog nga am 50% ak lu si tegu nga mun a nekk président ñu gis ne loolu baaxu si ñoom ñu wàññi ko ne mu rek a raw gaadu te si raw gaadu loolu lañ daanele kon looy def rek defal lu baax rek moo gën so noonu la ñoo doxale duñu ragal si affaire yi daan wala ñàkk daal loolu si Gambien yi la des.
Mr President Boubacar Tamba Sud FM ñëwati na ku wax nguuru Yaya Jammeh ñaar fukki at ak ñaar daal di wax Kanilaay ak festivalam Kanilaay am na yu bëri ñuy wax ni mu ngi foofu laxu ndax mun nañu xaar ci sa nguur ñu càmbar li nga xamante ni moo nekk Kanilaay lan la fa Yaya Jammeh lakk ak noonu nga koy defee.
yaa nga Kanilaay ñun duñ continuer loolu réew mi lu nga xam ne loolu la doon def loolu la ñoo continuer di def.
Mr. President, Ibu Wage. Mr. President, for 22 years, we journalists in the Gambia have not had this kind of occasion, to have a press conference with the President of the Republic. This is your first press conference with the journalists. Can you promise that this is going to be the case, and can you say once every month you will do this?
I cannot set a period, but I know you will continue to enjoy this. With this, we can learn from each other. With this, people will be informed. And that information is fundamental, is very important. So this will continue.
Sir, Abdullah from Al Arabi TV in London. For the first, I want to ask what kind of relation you look with the neighborhood, Senegal and Mauritania, precisely?
Senegal and Mauritania They are our neighbors. You have a lot of Senegalese, a lot of Mauritanians in the Gambia. You have a lot of Gambians in Senegal and Mauritania. That neighborhood relationship will continue. And I think we will improve that relationship to another level. So we have been together for years. I think that togetherness will continue.
Madeline Baji, Radio Gambia. Mr. President, parliamentary elections are around the corner. Are we looking at a situation where all the coalition parties will put in their individual candidates, or it's going to stay as we did in the presidential elections? And what does your government intend to do with the assets of the former president? And are we looking at a situation where Kanilai, the president, will be a museum if he doesn't come back to the country? Thank you.
Elections are coming. That is National Assembly elections. We are a coalition. We will continue as a coalition. We will continue as a family to challenge the new opposition, that is the APRC. So we will continue as a family. With the president's assets, there is nothing I can say as of now until we get up to office. Then we will have people who will make recommendations and we see how we go about it.
السلام عليكم السيد الرئيس. مرحبا. ممكن أطرح سؤالي باللغة العربية؟ الصحافة الموريتانية. En français alors. Je suis plus à l'aise en français et en arabe. Sinon, je vais me débrouiller en wolof.
Wolof.
D'accord. De ma première question, Benen, pourquoi vous n'avez pas donné d'interview depuis votre élection à la presse arabe?
Why you didn't give an interview for Arabic TV like Arabic TV?
Why did I give what?
We are 400 millions de personnes et nous sommes des partenaires stratégiques de la Gambie, nous les Arabes. Ça c'est de un. De deux, est-ce que vous allez rejeter une partie du traité des médias entre les médiateurs de la CEDEAO et de la Mauritanie avec Diamé, surtout le point qui concerne l'impunité? Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui... Voilà. Pour l'impunité, est-ce que Monsieur le Président va juger Yahya Jammeh?
Bon, ñoom li muy laaj moo di lan moo tax boobu ba léegi accordé woo interview presse arabe bi te presse bu stratégique la boo xam ne daf la jàppale mu ne ndax di nga juger Yahya Jammeh loolu mooy question bi nga xam ne moom moo mujj mu ne jeex na tàkk.
waaw ñun si suñ ñi nga xam ne ñëw nañ interview ñu fii ñooñu lañ waxal gisuma benn arab channel bu nga xam ne ñëw na laajte interview ñu ne ko duñ la jox interview. waaw ba pare Al Jazeera fona Arab Channel ñëw na fii defal nañ ko interview. am na Mauritanian journaliste tam bu fi ñëwoon interview nañ ko kooku tam joxoon nañ ko interview. pour juge Yahya Jammeh nekkuñ di wax loolu ñu ne dañoo am commission bu nga xam ne dina def recommandation si recommandation yi la ñoo xam lan lañ war a def ak lan lañ war a def.
Mr. President, once again, Ajamoso. My question is, I want to ask you whether you will appoint any member of the previous regime to any ministerial position. And the other question is, do you know the 50 members that the former president Yahya Jammeh left with?
The first question is, yeah, I know. In cabinet, I said no. I think we have 8 parties as a coalition. We have enough manpower to take up that challenge. There'll be nothing like that. And actually, I don't know how many people Yahya Jammeh left with. We will come to know it maybe later, but I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Abdou Cissé, Dakar Actu. Monsieur le Président, dafa am ñuy wax ni yow président par défaut nga te mooy yaa fi sës moo tax nga falu beneen bi dafa am loo digle woon loo waxoon ni di nga ko def te mooy boo toogee ñetti at da ngay joxe keneen ñëw est-ce que loolu tey yaa ngi ci ba léegi.
Si sa première question bi yaa fi sës moom góob ma ne am na si benn réew because Gambia 1.8 million nit ñoo nekk Gambia fii. Political party yu booloo dem na ba juróom-ñetti parti kon yaa fi sees moom boobu amut foofu benn affaire rek mun naa la ko wax parti yu booloo ñu ne neeñ dañ dem élection si élection boobu ñu tànn ma nekk candidat noonu laa ñëwee pour nekk candidat nekkut ma foofu maa fi sees boo koy amut. loolu lañ d'accord loolu lañ bind si suñ kayit ñetti at boobu dafa am liggéey bu ñu war a sumba liggéey boobu dinañ xar suñ tànki tubé pour def ko si ñetti at su mënee nekk si ñetti at baax na waaye dafa des si coalition bi ñetti at boobu si liggéey bi jeexee ndaa jeexut lan lañ war a def naka la ñoo continuer li affaire état
la. Lavin Cham, Standard. Again, Mr. President, when you were elected, and what the mic is working, and the manner your victory has been greeted, and this was, of course, amplified again at the Banjul airport during your welcome. Everybody cherishes the newfound freedom that the Gambia has. Everywhere we go as journalists, we've been told, oh, now you are free. And we will obviously be concerned about how much you will guarantee this freedom once again. And no, I'm not representing any business, but I want to push this question to you again because I said so many people have been put out of jobs through presidential directives which arbitrarily closed their businesses without being backed by law. Do they have to wait for another presidential directive or do they start their business right away? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think I've answered this question. I'll come back to the same thing again. Gambia will not be run by presidential directives anymore. I'll be in office tomorrow. We will look at this closely, and I'll be advised to what we're supposed to do, what will be our next move. And the freedom, I think this freedom will continue. That's why we want to make a complete overhaul, a complete reform of the whole system, so that we will have the rule of law, we will have democratic principles. The democratic principle, I think that will have bring the environment for everybody to be free.